Hello and welcome to another Craft Kit tutorial. My name is Colleen and I'm the Assistant Team Librarian here at the Woodmere Library. This time we're going to be doing in honor of Banned Books Week, caution tape ribbon bookmarks. So in each kit you will get a little bit of caution tape ribbon, 2 threaded needles, a hair tie, and a button. And from home, you'll just need a pair of scissors. So we'll bring you down and we'll get started. All right, so I went ahead and took out the first needle from our little piece of cardboard here. It is taped just to keep the string from coming undone, so make sure you peel that tape off first. And these are pre-tied with a little knot in the end. And what we're gonna do is just kind of seal off these edges. As you can see, when ribbon gets cut, it frays. So we wanna kind of stop this from happening. So I'm going to trim off just a little bit of this frayed part, maybe, doesn't want to cut, there we go. And then we're going to fold this over just, an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch there towards the back, just to keep that from fraying anymore. And we're going to sew this with something called a back stitch. And you'll have to forgive me, I am not the best at sewing, so I'm kind of looking at my own directions here. And we're going to work on it together. So you want to start where the knot's going to be at the back. So you're going to go from the back to the front, right near that edge there, so that your knot sticks. And then you're going to go through the front, small stitch. The smaller the stitches, the stronger it's going to be. So keep that in mind when you're sewing. Mine is, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch. It's pretty small. All right, and then you're going to come up through the back to the front. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. Like so, about the same distance as your last stitch, and I'm trying to keep it as in line as I can. I am not a strong sewer, so you will have to forgive me because I am also learning. All right, so now we have, maybe you can see that, a small little gap there. And then you take your needle and you go through the same place as the second stitch was to kind of form a complete stitch there. So you go backwards and fill in that hole. All right. And then you go through the back so that the stitch is about the same distance. And then go back and line it up with the last one. Now luckily, because this is just our fold over, you get a little opportunity to figure out how to sew first before you really have a stitch that shows. Because I am definitely still learning to make my stitches straight. Alright, so now I've got 3 complete stitches there. So again, through the back, try to keep them equidistant and in as much of a line as we can. Go back and meet it with the last stitch through the front. And pull it tight. If I don't have a knot here, there we go. All right. And then we work all the way across like that. Through the back, making a little gap, and going back and meeting the previous stitch. Through the front, through the back, leaving a small gap. Turn this towards me so I can see. Oh yeah, my stitches are not at all straight, but that's okay. I'm learning a new skill. All right, and then we meet it with the previous stitch. Through the back. Meet back with the previous stitch. Through the back. meet back with the previous stitch. Now this is a pretty basic stitch. This is a good one to have in your back pocket in case you need to, I don't know, sew up the edge of your pants that are too long, or something just simple that you could hand sew. It might not be the neatest, but it at least would do the job for you. Alright, and I'm just continuing all the way across here till I get to the end. Alright, and then I'm gonna loop over the end there to tie this. And then when you tie off, when you have your loop still, I take my needle and I loop it around and through that loop before I pull it tight a couple times. And then I pull it until it kind of forms a knot. I'm going to take my scissors and I trim it. And my scissors aren't very sharp, so it doesn't do anything. Alright, I pull it tight and I trim it. There we go. So, it is sewn. It is not perfect, but it's sewn. It's there. So what you're going to do is take your same needle and we're going to retie a knot. And we're going to do that by making a loop like you would normally do a knot. I loop the end through a few times, 2 or 3 maybe, and then I kind of pull that knot so it's as close to the end as I can get it. And then I usually take this and tie another knot right on top of it so that that knot is in the middle of the knot I tie. Just to stack the knots on top of each other and really make sure that it is a strong enough knot that it's not going to pull to the other side. Like so. Alright, so what I'm going to do is do the exact same thing on the other edge of my ribbon, just to kind of seal it over. You can trim off your thread on the ends here, and then we will come back to the next step when I have finished that. Alright, I have both ends done here. As you can see, not perfect on the back there, but it is done and it is together. So now we're going to finish this up. So we're going to take one of these sides and we're going to wrap it around this hair tie. And this hair tie is what keeps the bookmark closed around your book. So because I use pretty much all of my thread to sew those edges down, excuse me, I'm a little sniffly today. I'm going to use the other needle, put that to the side here, tape stuck to me. Alright, I'm going to use this one to sew it. So we're going to take the hair tie and we're going to wrap it around like so, and then we're going to sew it again, just like we did before. And this is just to really hold that on there. I'm going to do a little bigger allowance here, maybe about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, just to make sure that we're really getting that on there good. And I'm going to sew it a little below my last stitch so I can make sure I can see it. Oh, we got to start in the back so my knot stays. Alright, and same stitch as before, just that, that back stitch that we were doing all the way across that side. Keep your stitches nice and small and even as possible. Oh, see, that is not even, not at all. There we go. That's better. Go back through there. Alright, and we're going to sew that all the way across. I've got a little fuzzy here. I'm going to try. There we go. So I'm going to sew that all the way across and tie it off just like before, and then we'll do the button side. Alright, we've got that side sewed on, and then we're going to take our needle here and tie another knot, again as close to the edge as we can because we don't have a ton of thread. Twist it around a couple times, pull it really close to the end, and one more knot on top of that just to make sure I've really got a knot there. Oops, and I missed one more for good measure. That one I tied and it didn't quite land on top of it, so that's fine. We'll just do it one more time. Yeah, I think I got it that time, but why not? This is going through our button, so it doesn't hurt if this is a little even more strong of a knot than the previous one. I'm going to just trim this edge off. Yeah, man, these scissors are terrible. There we go. Okay. Not in. String out of the. Alright, so we're going to attach our button now. So you want to make sure all 4 holes of your button are on the, trim this, on the ribbon. But the button itself can hang off the edge, and it should actually hang off the edge a little bit, just to make it adhere to your other part of your hair tie there. I'm just trying to trim off this fuzz because I'm being picky. You definitely don't have to. By the time I put the button on, you're not going to be able to see it anyway. Alright, so button with the little ridges up, and lay it where you want it on the ribbon. Again, close to the edge so it kind of overlaps, but make sure all 4 holes are still on the ribbon because you have to use that to adhere them. So, not so close to the edge that they're going to come off. So you go back from the back through a hole, and then you want to go diagonal to that hole and pull. And then we're going to go up from that hole, back to front, and diagonal to the one you just did from front to back. And then we're going to repeat. So we're going to go back to front through the first hole, and then diagonal, and then up. Where are you? There we are. And then diagonal. I'm going to do it 3 times. So one more time. Up, diagonal, up, diagonal. Like so. And it is on there now. So how we're going to tie this off, what I saw is a good trick, is to wrap it around your button, like in a circle, and then find that thread you just wrapped around. It's going to be kind of the tricky part, but we got it. Put your needle underneath it, and then tie it off by wrapping it around a couple times, just like we did on our other stitches. If your string gets too short, you can cut off your needle and just wrap your thread around a couple times. That also works. So we're going to pull that tight and trim it as short as we can. And there you go. You got your button on. So this is your completed bookmark. I will go grab a book and we'll come back up and I'll show you how to put this in as your bookmark. Alright, so completed bookmark. Doesn't look like much of a bookmark now. If you have a book, which I happen to grab a commonly challenged book, which is Speak. So whatever page you're on, you lay your ribbon through the book, like so. Close it up, and then use that to close it. Now, if it's a smaller book like this, you could loop it once just to kind of make it a little stronger on there. You could also start with a little less ribbon, but I think this works fine. I just looped that around twice, and it works just fine. And then when you're ready to go back to your page, you just undo it and open it, and your ribbon is right where you are. So yeah, that is the caution tape bookmark. Hope you guys come and pick this up for Band Book Week and give some hand sewing a try if it's new for you, or practice it if it's something that you're comfortable with. So there you are. Thank you guys again, and we will see you for the next video. Thanks. Have a good one.